You know what?
Do whatever you normally do.
Yeah, let's do it. Yo, this is hilarious to do on a double live com, bro. All right. What's up, y'all? It's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, ranking the shooting badges in tiers for the first time, actually, because I didn't even do one in Season 1. So, because I'm not quite the shooting expert, we got my boy Tonic here, one of the stretch bigs that I play with, and he's going to help us rank this live. So, we're doing a double tier list live. So, we're going to get straight into this. Tonic, you can introduce yourself for the people of the channel.
Yo, I'm Tonic. What's up? That's why I was, no introduction needed. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, fair enough. All right, here, we'll get straight into this. All right, so we got Slippery to start off with. This is obviously, I mean, I don't know about you, this is probably the worst badge on the list. Like, I'm trying to look at this, and also, yeah, so I haven't, normally, fellas who's watching this, when I do these, I actually, like, already predetermine where I'm gonna put all the badges, and then I just unveil them. We're doing this straight off the cuff live, so this is gonna be a lot different of a dynamic than we normally do, but anyway, so Slippery, what are you thinking off rip? I got a pretty good idea, but I don't want to give it away too early.
I'm thinking D tier. The badge works, but I feel like Spot Finder like almost does better than what Slippery does.
I'm in agreement with that. I was gonna go D tier already, so we'll just throw it there for sure. Simple as that. All right. Speaking of another no-brainer, obviously we know where this is going, probably. Although I don't know. Do you have a counterpoint to it? I mean, to me it's S tier, but I guess like I don't know. Is that pretty simple? Limitless S tier. I mean. Literally
I mean, you needed to shoot Limitless. It is what it is.
Literally just broken in all aspects. We got a bunch of people on our pro-am team with bronze on it, and it feels like it makes a pretty good impact on that. You got like different levels like silver and gold that compound even harder, that just make them even more obvious. I don't know how you feel about the power of like the 99.3 with the Hoff Limitless builds or anything like that. I don't know. I guess sometimes it doesn't seem worth going for, but it definitely seems like, you know, obviously more and more powerful every level you go with this. But
I think people wish that you could shoot farther with it, but like if you're on the hash and it's popping up, like it is like doing its thing right there, you know, like holding compared to silvers.
I guess that's the layers of like, you know, levels to this stuff, because like when it comes to Limitless, you can either talk the consistency of the shot actually going in, or you can talk about the range extending factor of it. And I feel like in the past it used to like do a way better job at extending the range that you would have on it, whereas it does seem it does that, but it does seem like it's a little bit more about like the consistency of the shot nowadays, rather than to push the limits so crazy far. What do you think of free points? This is gonna be an interesting one to kind of.
Okay, I think with free points, I think it's the free throw rating that is giving you like what you need to make the free throw for the most part. So I would say C tier. Like it works, especially like
I was eyeing C tier as well, for sure.
Yeah, it feels good, but I mean, if you have like a 99 free throw, it's not Hall of Fame free points making you hit the free throw. It's the 99 free throw.
Normally when I do these videos, I kind of like put things in there in the notes tab, and I'm like, okay, so like we have certain badges weighing up against each other and stuff. What we can do, in my opinion, I think, is when we get to the end of this list, let's hit a revision like at the end, and maybe like if we see something that we believe was in the B tier doesn't stack up, like let's say free points, you know, we saw that it maybe belonged in the B tier, or vice versa. We have something like corner specialist where it's like we think it's B tier, but then it's like, you know, you stack it up against all the other B tiers and you're like, well, this is outclassed entirely, so maybe we should just move it back down. But anyway, so speaking of corner, I know you probably have your own slight bias towards this as far as you know, obviously with where you play at and stuff.
Yeah, we haven't been in the corner.
I don't know about you, I haven't seen much like 2K Labs test on this like I did in last year's game, where it was so you know,
it didn't even work last year, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was so controversial as to whether it even worked at all or not. It seems pretty obvious that it does work in this game. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think so too, because like if you notice people fading in the corner, that's so much better than fading on the wing.
Yeah,
I would say it's just a solid B tier. Like it does its job.
I'm thinking B. I don't normally put these like, you know, top equals best of the B tier, bottom equals bottom of the B tier, but we're gonna consider this probably, in my estimation, it'd probably be like a low B tier, something like that. Like I'll bet you there are gonna be other badges. Like for instance, let's talk about claymore, because I'm assuming this is what we'd think of as a high B, but like maybe it could be low A, if you get what I'm saying. Like sort of dynamic to this. I don't know what you think as far as
I would say high B. I think like it does its job. Like you hit shots catching it off the claymore.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything special. Like
that's facts. I think as you look up here, we're gonna see some badges that definitely belong in A over claymore. But yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. The lines get kind of blurred sometimes between, like, you know, when you have like the bottom of an A versus the top of a B. Like sometimes they kind of just blend in with each other like really well. But Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
I feel like Claymore's something you might not feel like stacking to, because sometimes when you get it, you get open looks popping up, you get catch and shoot popping up. Like if you're in the corner, you got corner popping up, and then Claymore on top of that.
Or the fact that, like, if you really wanted to contrast these two badges right here, like Claymore works everywhere, whereas corner only works in the corner. So like that's another thing to kind of like weigh the. That's what I'm saying. Like Claymore's probably just high B, corner specialist is probably like low B. You know, like kind of that dynamic. Anyway, agent. Is this a no-brainer too? I mean, we're just calling this like a S tier. Like, I mean.
Yeah, I wish I saw more guards fade from 3, like when they don't have takeover with like high agent 3s.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point, because obviously, like, that is something we just talked about with AK on the game earlier today. Is like I was asking if the fading 3s are kind of dead for like even we were just in 3v3 pro him, and he was like, yeah, they're pretty bad. Like, not even really much of a point to go for. So
yeah, but the reason I think it's S tier though, I'm not gonna lie, I see people that will just like fade from 3 with no takeover sometimes, and I'm like, every time you're just like, he's a dog. Like, I think, weren't we playing a game where a guy did that like 4 straight times?
Yeah,
like, just straight no takeover at the top of the key.
That is,
it had to be the agent 3s carrying him.
That is the tough thing though, right? Is that I just feel like, I don't know. So like if we're talking the majority of people who are watching these types of videos, you know, and I'm not here to call anybody who's watching just a bad player, but I'm just saying, like, when we see the top of the top do plays like that, it is a little bit hard to put into like the process of the majority of other people who play the game. Because if you see 1 out of 1, you know, like a 1 of 1 dude, like just a complete just anomaly come out there one game and see that, honestly, yeah, that is agent that's letting him do that. I guarantee he would not be able to hit those shots with no agent 3, obviously. And you know, I mean, we're not even talking just about like that, obviously, with the badge. I mean, you can do all types of stuff with the quick stops, just like random, you know, shots off the dribble from 3, stuff like that. So long story short, it's like a point guard's best friend badge, simple as that. And then obviously, you know, can still factor into some other like play styles. Obviously, I think it's, what's the height restriction on this again? 6'11s can get this, but it's like,
yeah, 6'11s can.
But it's likely going to only be on like bronze, max silver, something like that, I think.
Yeah, I think silver's absolute max.
Yeah, you got to go min.
6'3",
yeah, you got to go super minimum wingspan to get to 86, and sometimes you just go 85 for like the bronze agent and like the bronze limitless and stuff like that. So long story short, yeah, agent, good utility, really good badge, point guard's best friend, and can still be used in some other cases like catch and run fades and stuff like that too, as a spot up and stuff like that. But you got to be a pretty high 3-pointer spot up, like how our team functions. Most, you know, teams will probably come out there with at best bronze agent 3 on their corner spot ups and stuff like that. Anyway, we got the tonic special badge right here. We got post fade phenom. So we'll leave this one all to you. I think this is gonna be a.
No, I'm trying not to be biased. Where do you put it?
I'm thinking it's probably going to be, so this is where I usually go about these tier list videos, right, is that I think if you have a badge that is very low usage rate, it kind of gets a little bit of a penalty in my eyes, but if it's like a super effective like utility, I generally would rate it higher. But honestly, I come to think of that people can still hit shots like that without the badge, even, in my opinion. So I don't want to put, oh, it's so tough. I'm not sure. C tier, B tier, something like that. It's either another yeah, to me, it's either another low B or a high C.
I do think having it on Hall of Fame, I think that's when you start hitting the yellow post, like fades and shimmies, the post hops.
That's
I think
valid.
Open, like, you can do well without it, but I think once you have it on Hall of Fame, you know, like, even if they're getting good contests, it's giving you that boost you need.
Gotcha. But like I said, we can do revision at the end of the video too. Like I said, we can kind of give some looks on this. Now, I rated Whistle, I believe, in my finishing badges to be A tier because of how just absolutely annoying it is to deal with. But I don't know if we want to change the dynamic of it toward Whistle as a shooting badge, if you get what I'm saying. Because Whistle as a finishing badge is extremely annoying to deal with, obviously, with like just playing good defense and then you just get completely like railed for it. You know, it's just super annoying. But I like that idea if you think that, you know, we could just do Whistle as a shooting badge.
Shooting? Yeah.
What do you think of that? Yeah, but that's a big different dynamic, you know? I mean, like it's so annoying to deal with someone having it as a slasher, whereas as a shooter, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you're more at the mercy of the animation itself, you know what I mean? Or the fact that you went for the jump or not. This is speaking of the tonic badge. We got the jump at the corner badge right here.
Tonic special. I feel like if they have high Whistle, if I jump at him, it's an automatic foul.
I'm thinking it's either once again a low B or a high C, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm thinking C, but if you want to push me the other way, we could potentially put it in B. But I just think like 3-pointers alone, it doesn't seem like it's as worth. And this is just the fun factor of the video. Like I said, I mean, if you're a build that comes out there and you're a shooter and a slasher, bridge the gap. Simple as that, right? Like if you constantly slash, I think it's easily an A tier. If you do rare slashing with mostly shooting, I would bridge the gap, call it a B tier. Simple as that. But I think as just a pure shooting badge itself, I think it's maybe a little bit more of like a high C, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think if you have it on Hall of Fame, like you're just hands up fouling everybody taking jump shots. I don't really see like the difference like in that aspect.
Yeah,
like,
I guess
maybe
like,
it don't really matter how.
Maybe we'll do a better job at like keeping track of that in the future too, though, because like maybe I'm curious to see if we lead to more shooting fouls on people that have like like a 96 3-pointer or something like that. I forget what the whistle thresholds are and stuff like that, but I believe it is around that 96 3-pointer to get like the gold. And then, I mean, Hall of Fame whistle is almost non-existent in comp scenery. Like it's literally you have to have 99 on a rating. Yeah, which nobody comes out with 99 dunk, or it's very rare to see a 99 3-pointer out there. But it can happen from time to time, I guess. Anyway, we can move along. Open looks.
I think A tier.
Yeah. It seems like an easy A tier. Like, just a really good badge that's not overpowered. This is the classic, it's like a not overpowered badge, but such a glue one that's like a really good badge that, just in my opinion, is like a no-brainer to belong here in this tier, essentially.
I mean, the whole thing, you're trying to get open shots and a badge that boosts your open shot making. What's better than that?
Yeah, I guess
that's the shots you want to have anyway.
I guess if there's any argument against the badge, it would be in my time of now having been on a shooting build and just labbed up a little bit, seeing that this only activates on wide opens can be a little bit deterring to the power of the badge, I guess, because in this game there is a lot of opens and like light contest of like sixes and under and stuff like that, and like opens especially. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess like it definitely seems.
I think it'd be kind of game breaking if it activated on opens.
Yeah, that's
valid.
S tier
at that
dude.
Point.
Yeah, that'd be. I definitely would. I wonder if it'd be like an overpowered S tier though. Would it be like the best shooting badge in the game if that was the case? It's debatable, I suppose. I mean,
I think you'd get more use out of it than Agent 3's and Limitless.
Yeah,
plus,
that is
we've
is
seen
true.
2K Labs do the test, and like the actual boost it gives you is pretty significant.
Yeah, it's a lot less niche
gold,
too.
so.
Like obviously, Agent fits a certain style. Limitless fits a very specific style of like guards. Open looks is literally for everybody who shoots the ball. Like simple as that, So it definitely is a little bit more of a generalized badge. So yeah, if it was on opens, that'd be OD for sure. Middy Magician coming up next. You can lead us. You can lead us on this one. I have an idea, but I don't want to give it away or anything.
Okay, I think A tier as well because middies they're easy to shoot in this game, but when you stack with Middy Magician with the easier like makeable mid-range shots, and then you just become a monster.
Okay, so take me through this.
Take
me through this because I'm not entirely educated on the shooting of this aspect yet, so that's why I want you to like kind of take the lead on this one a little bit more. So Middy Magician only activates on fades though, right? Like for instance, if you even get like
it pops up whenever you take just like catch and shoot middies.
Okay.
Anything in the middy.
What about so obviously we have Space Creator up here eventually too. So that's like does Middy Magician doesn't stack with like spin jumpers and hop jumpers, right? Like
no, it doesn't. Only Space Creator pops up.
Okay.
But if you just take like shots like in the middy, like catch and shoots in the middy, it pops up. Now I don't know if it's doing anything, like it's hard to tell sometimes.
Well, now here we have another benchmark sort of thing, right? So now that we got a couple like neighboring badges here, we have things like Fade Phenom and like Claymore Corner Specialist. It does seem like it belongs over those badges, like it seems like it is a tier up. But then it becomes the question of is it on the same tier as Open Looks? So we could at least come back to that eventually, but okay. So you think like Open Looks is easily like top tier A tier, and then Middy Magician is probably bottom A tier, something like that, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's valid for sure. And then we have Comeback Kid. Okay, so here's the me and Tonic were talking. This is the one badge that we mentioned before the video started, and this is the example one, right? Where it's like we were talking about the usage rate of the badge. It really varies too. Like we didn't even talk about that actually specifically of the fact that like there are people out there for every winner there is a loser. So like while we typically are winning consistently in our games, I mean. Technically, there are still people on the other end of that are losing consistently on their games, and like a badge like this would be huge for them. And what do you think of the boost of the badge specifically? Like,
I can say 100%. I've played solo rec, and the other team when they're down 20, that's when they turn into gods. If my team starts going down, that's when my guys start hitting all their shots. I definitely believe the badge works, but I don't ever have it high, so
Yeah, exactly, man. It's so hard to give our like take on this. I think B tier is valid. I believe
Low B.
Yeah.
I think so.
But man, you're right. I mean, honestly, bro. Oh, you compare it to if you're talking just in general, the boost of the badge, it probably is good. Simple as that.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's what I'm saying though. It's so subjective because there may be people out there. Because like I said, for every winner there is a loser. So for every person that's up by 20, the whole opposite team is down by 20. So I mean, it's tough to say. Like if you're talking to best players in the game, they don't think about Comeback Kid. But like, to be fair, and do we know what the activation is? Yeah, exactly. Do we know what the activation of the badge is? I don't know about you because I'm not sure. But like, how it used to be, like maybe you have to be down. Yeah, I was gonna say 7. Yeah. Yep. So,
which is good in like red game stuff. In Park, it's kind of tough.
Yeah,
maybe they changed it. That was old. I remember that was old 2Ks that popped up as 7. I just haven't really tested it all this year to like really even know.
I feel you, but we can leave it in B. Like I said, we can maybe respec that into C if we find like other badges to not be quite as good. Like, let's talk. Okay, so Spot Finder, right? This pops up for me even when I like, let's say do an up down, right? Where I'm coming up, I hit a little up down back to the paint, boom, I dunk it. Spot Finder even pops up for that. So this itself, though, I don't believe gives you more like quickness or space creating when you do it. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna pull up.
Hit the shot after doing it.
Okay, so I just pulled up the description of the badge, and it says improves a player's ability to quickly get open off the ball. See, that's why I'm so confused about it, because it doesn't just pop up when you do it, right? Like, if I were to do that, or if it were to activate for every time I did it, I'd see it super consistently, but it only happens after I score. So, it's a little bit of a weird situation, you know what I mean? But I don't know. So we can talk just in general about Spot Finder itself, because we were both talking like how it really is just better slippery off ball, to be honest. So what was your concept of how slippery off ball, or not slippery off ball, how Spot Finder works? Do you believe do you believe it to be a speed booster off ball, or do you believe it's more for like the shot percentage after the move itself?
I saw like a Toots test, and like he's showing like that animation you get where your guy's like holding his hand up doing the Spot Finder, and apparently it does speed you up like slightly. And it gives you a boost after you do it, like to hit the shot. Like once the bat pops up after you shoot, it gives you like a boost to hit the shot.
So what do we think then on something like this? I hate to flood B tier, but like it does seem pretty B-esque.
Maybe like the highest C tier, I think. Like,
yeah,
cool
that could
badge,
be valid too.
It's not game breaking though. It's not like we have a bunch of pure sharps to, like.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. The usage rate of it is pretty low. Putting it C is pretty reasonable. Yeah. So what do we think of Guard Up? I'm gonna let you lead this one.
I love this badge. I think it's A tier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a hard time like seeing when it activates for my types of shots now on like the new 610 I'm on. But that's probably because A, I don't shoot contested that much. B, can you explain the difference between shooting, like what activates Guard Up? Is it standstill shots more so, or like?
Okay, so Guard Up, like say you're doing like your KD fade, right? Whenever they're like right by you, like and they don't put a hand up, but they're ghost contesting you, that's Guard Up popping up.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So, yeah. So I get it to like pop up a ton, like on like post hops, on fadeaways, like everything. Like it's really good for those situations where they're not ready to like jump at you, or they're not ready to like play you because you hit them like like with the KD fade or Jokic hop jump or anything like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, or maybe even like yeah, stuff where like you call their bluff on even like putting a hand up, pretty much. Like that's what you're trying to get at. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, I'm with the A tier. I guess like this is probably low A tier in that case though, obviously, because like comparing it to open looks, comparing it to open looks probably doesn't match up the same way. And now, see, here's where we get really nitty gritty, right? Because Green Machine, you'd probably argue is objectively better than Guard Up, like in general. But do we put it like, so is this an A tier to you as well? I think it's a kind of a bit of a no-brainer to not put it in S. I don't think it's like that.
I think in a game too where you have to green the shot to make it, a badge that makes your green window bigger is always going to be like such a good badge.
Yeah, that's definitely valid. I mean, it's literally like we were just playing with Bonnie, who's got that like heat check stuff because he's in Rise, and like it's almost like that, but at a like more elongated way where you just like consistently keep getting the progress, but then once you miss, or in Bonnie's case when he misses, it cuts off the whole progress of getting that heat check to pop up and stuff like that. So I don't know, it feels kind of the same way where like you could even be at the mercy of, see, we're not complex enough to really always think about this stuff. I would love to be as well, but when I'm talking about like when we shoot full court shots or something like that, like, or if someone got a grenade at the end of a shot clock, right? Boom, that cuts off your entire green machine progress, whether you were going crazy on it and it was like 4 for 4, or if it was like you stunted your ability to even get it to start growing in the first place, you know? So I guess what I'm saying is you're at the mercy of like the game flow sometimes as a shooter, because you might just catch a grenade and then your whole green machine is just gone, poof, like that. And for the lack of volume shooters, you know, people who maybe end a game with like 3 shot attempts on average, it might be a little bit tougher to get as much out of this badge, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know what, something too, I think people really like people think this is an S tier badge. Like if you hear other teams talk, they're like, he's got green machine going, he's got green machine going. And when you see somebody greening shots, like they're thinking they're the guy. They're not about to miss a shot because they got green machine activated, you know? They're like, green machine, my green window's like, 100 milliseconds larger.
Okay, we have a lot of badges that are going to get jumbled up in the same type of power coming up right here. So we have like catch and shoot, deadeye, blinders, space creator. A lot of good badges objectively. I think it's easy enough to say that none of them are B tier, or like none of them are below B tier, obviously, right? So
no,
you'd be hard pressed to find any of them at all, even like below like A tier for that matter, but we'll talk about it when we get there. So catch and shoot to start us off. What do you think? I guess so let's compare some of the catch and shoot type badges so far. We have things like claymore, corner specialist, and I guess objectively open looks can be a little bit of a catch and shoot badge too. You'd have to say catch and shoot's more close to this tier than, the claymore and corner specialist types, right? Yeah, so
because corner and claymore both have like a specific thing you got to do for it. With catch and shoot, it's just catch the ball, shoot. You don't have to wait a couple seconds. Like with claymore, you don't have to be in the corner with corner specialist.
Gotcha. Yep. All right, here we're gonna make some room because we might find even more badges on the A tier. So, okay. Next up we have deadeye blinders. This is gonna be really complicated. Yep. Let's narrow it down, right? You're thinking. Yeah. Okay, you're thinking no matter what, these 2 badges, floor, basement, have to be A tier, right? Obviously, and you'd be hard pressed to even. Okay, here, let's make some room again. So we got deadeye. We're going S tier with. I mean, just ridiculous at its power in general with every level of it that you go. Because let me throw you a lob here and you can talk about it. So we had you make that 98 mid range build for when you were spotting up hash as like a shooting guard, right? And I mean, it was just carrying pretty much, of the crazy shit you could hit.
I was shooting 75% from 3. I didn't I was as soon as I touched that ball, if they weren't in my face, I was just letting it fly, because deadeye and blinders stack together a lot. And another thing too with deadeye, I don't I feel like it's supposed to be more like somebody's getting a lake contest, but deadeye be popping up if they're in your face.
On opens,
it'll pops up on opens too. Yeah, you're just always getting the deadeye boost.
I know, that's what I found really intriguing about with the new build that I'm on too, is when I'm doing these KD fades, I see so many times that blinders and deadeye both pop up. Yeah, and it'll be 3 badges every time: middy magician, deadeye, blinders for any open shot that I hit on a fade, pretty much. Generally deadeye probably a little bit more than blinders, because it just seems like it activates more than blinders does, and blinders is maybe more niche for the specific situations that they're a little bit more on your hip than in your face with it. But anyway, so blinders, it's so tough between these 2 tiers in my opinion with it, whether it's A tier or S tier. To me.
Let me give this though real quick. Blinders does pop up a lot with deadeye, when you're just spotting up in the corner, even if it looks like they're it's a deadeye contest, it still gives you a blinders contest a lot of the time. It's not just for people right on the side. It pops up a lot even when people are in front of you. Maybe they're just slightly to the left in front of you. So I think it's low S tier, honestly.
Yeah,
the lowest S tier badge.
I was gonna say it's if you compare, and this is the type of stuff I run into with these videos, is that if you compare, it's better than every A tier badge here. It's better than green machine, open looks, catch and shoot, middy magician, guard up, all that stuff. But I think it's probably the worst S tier on the list. I wouldn't put it on the same level of power as Agent, Limitless, and Deadeye. So I do agree. I think it's a little bit more in the family tree of these overpowered badges than it is the good ones per se, And
if I had to have one, I'd choose Deadeye over blinders. But I love having them both. Those are just the shots I take.
Okay. And to leave us off, we have the tonic special as well, Space Creator. So
My favorite
this is obviously,
match.
you know, for every mixture of hop jumpers, spin jumpers there is. Jokic hop jumper going crazy with it too. All these crazy different packages you get with it. So what do you think? Where are we thinking Space
If we were
Creator?
talking about just the power of the badge boosting your shot, this would be S tier, and it'd probably be the top of the S tier.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I
like
don't
2K
think-
Labs did that test of showing what the Hoff looked like. I mean, it's like crazy how much, like how significantly like insane that does for boosting your shots. Yeah, and
But I think since there's so few people that do hop jumpers, I don't know if we can put it in S tier.
I know
Like,
it's so hard to say though, right? Because it's like, here, let's make room for A, because that's probably where it's going, right?
yeah,
But like,
yeah, it's gotta be
but
jumping up in it.
I almost feel like for someone like me though, right? I'm thinking like I don't do many hop jumpers just yet because I'm a little bit new to it. With like I'm just pretty much doing MIDI fades and standstill shots. Even though to be fair, the things that you mentioned of Space Creator boosting the shot and the shots themselves aren't actually hard to make. It's just that they're so different from the animations that you're probably used to consistently doing, and
Yeah, you
they
have to
can
learn, like a whole different shot timing.
yeah, and they can troll you sometimes, right? So like obviously, you know, we have things like for instance that backwards hop jumper that you have out of the, was it the Jokic?
Yeah,
Or wait, my bad. Wait, Jokic doesn't have a hop jumper animation, does he? It was or wait, no, duh. Yeah.
You're thinking of running to the corner doing like that super quick like flick up from his head.
That's what I'm saying. So like some people, they maybe even like accidentally activate that animation rather than to like, they maybe just thought they were going to do a regular step back one because they were just drifting to the corner, but instead you sprinted back to the corner, and then like all of a sudden some quick crazy stuff like that pops off and you're just like rattled, you know? Or
It's
like
impossible to
same with
time, man, 'cause you're not ready
you've
for
been referencing the KD hop jumpers the most recently, right?
Yep, they got the same thing. Yeah.
Yep. So they have a lot of variants to the animations that happen when you do those hop jumpers and stuff like that. But I guess to be fair, like you said, the boost of the shot making is pretty ridiculous. For someone like me or someone that is a little bit more just niche, like, or not even niche, very like basic play style when it comes to shooting, I'm sure this probably feels a little bit more like a B tier badge. But like, again, that's probably just because of lack of usage, you know, that like catch and shoot, green machine, open looks, those are just so general shooting badges,
Yeah.
you know.
Most
like,
people would want to have those badges over Space Creator, but just the power of Space Creator itself like gets it into that A tier,
yeah.
I think.
See, like for a corner spot up, they'd probably be like Laker, tonic, like dude, Claymore way over Space Creator for me. Like like let's be real, or like even corner specialist for some of them. Maybe it just depends on your playstyle. So a lot of times with these videos, I am mainly talking about the power of the badge. I do let the like kind of niche factor like make a little bit of a play where if it's super rare that people do it, like for instance post fades and stuff like that. And how do you feel about that now that we're at the end of this? Do you feel like post fade phenom should get knocked down to C tier? I'm curious what you think. And maybe
I don't.
and I'm wondering what you think this looks like. I'm wondering if you think this is more fair, as in Claymore and Corner are just better than these two badges by that big of a margin, or if you think we should just go back to default like that. I'm curious what you think.
Okay, I feel like if somebody's got Hall of Fame comeback kit activated, like they might feel like that's the best badge in the game. So I think that alone might keep it in B tier. And I don't know. I'd be greeting too many yellow post stops and shimmies and stuff for post fade feed.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid.
Well, I mean, you could argue it with me though. You know.
No, we can leave it in B. I'm cool with that. I think this looks pretty good. I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody to argue too much of this stuff. I'm trying to figure out the most arguable one that's on the list. Like, because we already gave the explanation on Whistle, how this is just as a shooting badge. If it were as a badge itself, it's probably A or B. Simple as that. Spot finder, it's like okay general badge. Like you don't use it like a ton or anything like that. Same with 3 points.
I feel like people might argue. I feel like people might argue Agent 3s just because like maybe they have it like on silver or gold and they just can't hit any faded 3s with it, and they think like that should be the difference. Also, like they might get sharp takeover like with their 83 pointer and then just be like green in those fadeaways, so like I don't even need Agent 3s.
Yeah, that's facts. I mean that's a good point for sure. But yeah, okay. Well, hey, I think we got this pretty good. I think that's gonna do it for the video. If you guys made it to the end of the video and want to show your support that you made it to the end, put tonic in the comments, show your support. And like always, try one of the 1,000 likes. And other than that, you can also feel free to check out the finishing, playmaking, and defensive ones that we've already done of this. And stay tuned for more stuff that maybe me and Tonic Lab. I know, let's leave them off with something that I actually wanted to talk to you about real quick. I want to, really, really bad, hop in those like tester courts that we did in the past, right? Like the freaking Mountain Dew courts and stuff like that. I want to test things like how good is accelerator, stuff like that versus not, or how long does extender last versus not, and all that stuff that we got nerdy with last year, and still have yet to do in this one. So we'll have to get weird with it again.
Juice actually does.
I know, that's facts. Yeah, I don't think there is like a good way, because even in the My Career it doesn't show anymore, like what the attribute boosts are that you're getting. So I've kind of just clipped that one as well. I just gave up on it honestly, but. Anyway, all right, yeah, sounds good. I'm just trying to let them know that we do get weird with stuff like that sometimes, and I'm down to do that again. But anyway, all right, that's all for video. Appreciate y'all watching. On that, TV's man. Peace.
Peace.